Welcome to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Today's guest is a wealth strategist, author of 7 Basic Wealth Strategies, and host of the Elevate Your Wealth podcast, a show created for small business owners and high-performing professionals who want to build real, lasting wealth through practical financial strategies and a growth-driven mindset. Victor Idoko holds multiple finance credentials, including the Chartered Financial Analyst designation and his Certified Financial Planner certification. With a strong academic foundation and real-world insight, he delivers powerful, actionable guidance that helps his audience simplify their finances and unlock their financial potential. Known for his easygoing yet focused style, Victor has a talent for breaking down complex money topics into clear, doable steps. He's passionate about fitness, performance, and the pursuit of excellence, seeing wealth building as a holistic process that mirrors the discipline and consistency found in training both the mind and the body. Whether through his book, podcast, or coaching, Victor empowers individuals to elevate their mindset, take control of their financial future, and pursue a life that's not just rich in money, but rich in meaning. Welcome beyond the velvet rope, Victor Idoko. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Neil. Great to be on the show.
Man, it is an honor to have you. So here we go. I said a lot in your introduction as I was doing my research, but my audience, tell them something that I did not say in your intro, sir.
Yes, yes. What you didn't say in the intro is I am a huge chess player as well. So I love to play chess, and I'm not that good, but I do play a lot. I think these days with online platforms, you can jump in, have a minute, 2 minute chess game. So that is something that I really love doing as well, and I love that as well because look, it's very good for the brain. So that is one thing the audience can know about me as well.
All right, so Victor, I want to jump in. So first, thank you for the transparency. He says, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I love it. I'm not that good at it, but I do love it." Where did the passion, the desire to play chess come from?
Yeah, so I'm generally very competitive, and I had this mate back in uni. He learned how to play, so and in our group of friends, none of us could really play, so he'll just line us up and he'll beat us every time. And he was like, Vic, you're never gonna beat me. I was like, don't say never. You can't say never. Like that's just a statement you cannot guarantee. He was like, no, you're never gonna beat me. I was like, in 3 games I'll beat you. He was like,
Challenge
what?
accepted.
I was like, yeah, in 3 games I'll beat you. I was like, yes. And so what happened is we played the next one. Then I waited 6 months before we played the next one again. And then the third one, I actually beat him, which is pretty good. So after then, I went on a journey. I was like, nah, I'm gonna learn how to play chess. Like it's mathematical. It's easy to learn. Obviously, it takes time to get better. So that was how I got into chess. So yeah, a bit of friendly competition right there.
Good stuff, man. So you guys are already learning something about Victor right now. Competitive guy, and you all probably heard Victor say the word mate, and so that was probably the telltale factor that, hey, we're like, Neil, I don't think this guy is from here. He's not from South Florida where you're located. Victor, go ahead and let the people know where you're joining us from, so they can go ahead and stop trying to wreck their brain to figure out where you're from, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So I am joining you from lovely Sydney down under. And yeah, so been here about 17 years now. Look, this is my home. I get confused as to which is now my home, Nigeria or here, because I was born in Nigeria. But yeah, this is definitely home as well. So I have 2 homes, Nigeria and here. And yeah, it's just been a blessing and amazing time being here for the last 17 years.
All right, so let's jump right into it because I do want to take advantage of the man, the myth, the legend, the king of the jungle while I have him here with me.
Hey,
So Victor, you mentioned being Nigerian and then being in Sydney, Australia for the past 17 years. What, how do you go from Nigeria to Australia and what does that journey look like?
yeah, yeah, very good question. Generally, if you're middle class to upper class in In fact, if you're any class, if you could move out of the country to study, is a very good thing to do. They just have better educational systems outside Nigeria. So that was what happened for me in that case. I actually really wanted to come to the States, but my parents were like, no, you're not going to the States. We don't have much family there, so we don't want you to be alone. I was like, no, I can take care of myself. They're like, no, no. So I had the choice between the UK and Australia. So I ended up in Australia to study. So that transition just happens if you get a scholarship, or if your parents or your family could afford to send you outside the country. You just have a better educational system, and look, you get the exposure as well, which is great as a growing individual. So that's how I ended up here.
All right, so with that, I've already taken some mental notes, and as I'm going back and doing my post production, I'll be writing these notes down before I actually listen to our interview for a third time. But what did you learn about yourself in that process? Because many of my audience, we have this desire where we want to go beyond the velvet rope, where we want to,
Mm,
accomplish these goals and dreams, but we look around and we see obstacles and challenges, but it doesn't mean we have to leave our home. It doesn't mean that we have to go to a foreign place, that we have to step into the unknown. So, what did Victor learn about himself in leaving home to establish home?
yeah, very deep question. Never had that one before, which is good. I think what happened for me within that process, and obviously in hindsight, became very clear when you look at a few things that has happened. In hindsight, it was just like I'm the kind of person that I'll jump in once I see an opportunity. So I'm not really scared of taking an opportunity, even though I might not know what that fully entails. So I'm definitely one of the type to just be courageous and try to do the best I can, even if it's in a foreign experience, foreign land or whatever. So and I kind of figured that out later on, because when I was leaving, I wasn't scared, because lots of people ask me how is it that was hard. I was like, no, to me it was exciting. It was like, being able to leave home and go and explore, and have the confidence to just try new things. But it took me back to when I was younger as well, because I used to play lots of basketball.
Now,
And my
wait, hold on, sir, because
yeah, oh yeah.
see, look,
I knew
late.
once we started talking about sports, it was over.
No, it's not just about sports, because I want to get to know Victor at an intimate level. You mentioned that
Yeah.
you love chess, but you're not good at it. So now you're saying that you used to play a lot of basketball. Were you any good? That now, so I'm asking
Ooh.
on behalf of the audience, Victor. Now they want to know. They're saying this just seems like an honest guy. He did not lie about playing chess. Now I'm going to say the $9 question today is: was Victor any good at basketball?
Okay, I'll give you what I thought in my head.
Oh, that means no, he wasn't, ladies and
No, no, no,
gentlemen. Go ahead and
no.
give it to us, sir.
I'll give you what I thought in my head, and then what other people said about me. So in my head, I felt like I was Michael Jordan.
Whoa, whoa.
In my head,
Okay.
I was like, yep, yep, I can play some ball. I was good. My friends thought I was good. I had a really strong drive. I think that was my. I was very quick, very very athletic, and I had a strong drive. Think about D Wade in his prime driving. Yep, yep, I could do this kind of
Ladies and gentlemen, you are
moves.
hearing it here on Beyond the Velvet Rope. Victor Idoko is he's dropping some heavy names. He
I
said
am,
Michael Jordan, D Wade. He's talking about Hall of Famers, ladies and gentlemen. So
I am, I am.
I
Yeah, but
cannot
I
wait
definitely wasn't
until
as
we
good as
start
them. But
talking. I can't wait until we start talking about the wealth side and the creation and the money side, because if you didn't make it in that sport and you're comparing yourself to these guys, oh, I know you got some gems to drop for us on the other side, sir.
yeah, so no, I really loved basketball back then. It was just something we played a lot back home, and yeah. Look, benefit because I was very athletic, and yeah, I'll say I'm still very kind of athletic. So yeah, the drives, the jumps, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was just easy to utilize those in the games.
Okay, but so we're already talking about you mentioned chess and it being a mind game, right? That it helps develop you mentally. It's a challenge, but you also like competition. And now you're talking about the physical side when it comes to being an athlete and moving,
Yeah.
jumping, driving. But I want to go to what you're doing now, and so you really equate financial fitness with physical fitness, right? So you draw a lot of parallels to that. And if we could start there, and we'll probably work our way backwards a bit.
Mm.
So I'm hearing you talk about being an athlete and being fit and being able to move. What about the audience who are saying, well, we're here for the finance side, for the money side, for the wealth creation side. What do we need to do to be financially fit? Could you just share anything with the audience there, Victor?
Yeah, so the key things, because I sit down with lots of clients, and the key things that really pops up straight away is, are you willing to put in the time and effort to get what you want?
Hold on. Is that how you're starting your consultation?
That's how I'm starting it, because I sit down with people and they come with amazing dreams, big dreams. And I'm like, yes, I love it. It takes time and effort. It just takes those two things, because I truly believe anyone can accomplish what they want. It takes time and effort. And even the time and effort is broken down into several aspects as well. And it's not just time you sitting down behind your desk and you're doing what you have to do. It takes time getting the right mentors to coach you. It takes time studying and just getting educated in that thing or that profession you want. So that time is huge in itself, but it takes time and effort. And I'm gonna relate this to sports. Like all the greats, they had great coaches that spent lots of time behind the scenes by themselves, just getting better. Same thing with your wealth. If you're not sitting down, structuring and planning as to how your wealth can get better, you're not gonna get better. And some people don't want to hear that, but it's just the fact of how things work.
Hey,
Except you're gonna
Victor,
inherit. Except
I'm glad you know. So let's park right there. So you know that people don't want to hear this stuff, but you also know that this is the difference maker that's necessary. How do you, as the professional, how do you balance between I know they don't want to hear it, but I know they need to hear it? Are you always coming from that position? I know this is going to hurt, but in order for you to get what you want, you must hear this. Is that your role, your position here?
my role is sitting down and really understanding the person. So our first meeting with clients is always understanding the goals. Throughout that process, I'm getting to understand the person's personality. I'm the kind of guy that if I walk into your room and I'm trying to get advice, tell me, this is not going to work. We're going to do this. Some people need a softer approach. They're like, okay, I hear what you're saying. Let's take the first step and let's start building from there. If you notice, the same things have been said, but in different ways. The first one was very direct, saying, no, you got to, get into your game and get what you're doing. The other one is like, okay, step by step. I haven't said yes or no, and I don't want to discourage them because some people get discouraged. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do anything. That's the worst outcome. We don't want people ending up not doing anything. And because I just don't know the personalities of lots of people out there, and they would really hear what I'm saying because I'm coming from an objective perspective.
Right.
Is learning what works for you, but my approach depends on the person's personality when I'm sitting down with them. Yeah, because that's key to success as well.
Man, spoken like a true professional. And I'm willing to assume, and we don't want to get in trouble with making assumptions, but I'm willing to assume that this is something that has evolved in your time of coaching and training and speaking, that this is not the way that Victor came out and said, oh, I know exactly how to do this. But for my audience, if you're willing to, would you share maybe a personal moment that sparked your passion for teaching financial strategy to high performers? Because it's one thing for you to know it and for you to do it and exercise yourself. But there's a
Yeah.
different switch when you say, hey, I think this is important enough and I think I'm capable to pass this on to others. Was there a moment there that sparked that for you, Victor?
Yeah, so a few moments, but the one critical moment was by the time I sat down with someone for the first time to give them financial advice. Because before then I was in retail banking and we're helping accounts opening, credit cards and all that kind of stuff. So that wasn't really advice, okay, because I loved investments. I just loved the ability to put your money in the right place or restructure things and you have a better benefit. And sometimes I just tell my clients, move your money from there to there and back to there and you save lots of taxes or you do, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
that's it. But it's the knowledge obviously that comes with that. So the one time that sparked that was my first meeting. I was sitting down with a client, and I was then telling them what we're going to do, how we're going to help. They then I could then see that, well, one, they knew a bit, but they didn't know the right sequence, because sequence is very important as well. It's a literally is a 1, 2, 3, 4 in terms of building wealth. Personally, not everyone is the same pattern,
Right.
but yeah, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of sequence. So I could tell that okay, they knew one, they knew three, but they couldn't just put it all together. And I just had that ability to put it all together. And I loved speaking to people. I just love having people trying to help them. And obviously by then as well, I'd studied a lot. So I knew, and how I know lots about the the economy, financial statements, counting, capital structure. So putting all that together is a it's a good skill to have when you're giving advice, because you can answer questions about interest rate, answer questions as to the way they're thinking about something, but they're looking at just one piece to the puzzle. So that was the moment that I was like, yep, I can see how I can really help lots of people, and I enjoy it. So it's something that I can grow and elevate and be one of the best in the world if I can. So it's not capped in that regards.
So your name can be up there with the Michael Jordans and the D Wades of your profession. I absolutely love it.
Exactly.
So
I'll
let
be
me
I'll be
ask you this,
very
Victor.
angry if end of the day, end of 20 years of my career, 30 years of my career, I'm not somewhere there. I'm like, oh, come on, Vic.
Like Vic, yeah, I expected more of you, sir. You you
Yeah,
you
I'll be
should
like,
have stuck
come
with
on, Vic.
basketball. So how long ago was it for you that you had that epiphany, that moment happened for you?
So that's probably about just over 10 years ago.
Okay. All right. So that was far enough, long enough ago for you to remember, but it was also long enough ago for you to be like, okay, I've gotten a lot of real world experience since then. So that's
Yeah,
good stuff. All right,
yeah.
Victor.
The sorry, I'll just add something there, which I think is the funny story about the whole thing. That client didn't go ahead, which was the funny thing, that they didn't go ahead, and that got me thinking a lot. And it's like, well, look, I had the analytical and technical skills, not the personal skills that needed for that client to then understand that I could help them. So there's a huge dynamic in all these things, which is good. I said all that comes with experience, right?
So what was that one of the things that you learned and that you took away from that interaction? Was like, I knew it here, but I didn't get it right here. And so now that's where you dove into the personalities and how you're going to answer different based on different personalities and their experiences. Is that correct?
Correct, 100%. Yeah.
All right. So I do know that you are on your way to having your name and jersey or your tie and jacket in the rafters because you wrote a book, Seven Basic Wealth Strategies. Seven basic. And so you did this for the people in the back of the room like myself who are a little slower. So seven basic wealth strategies. And I think this is one of the beauties of what you do and who you are. You take something very complex and you break it down so that we know where to start and begin. But the question I have for you is what did you see, right, between the successful professionals and then just maybe struggling or other business owners that led you to write seven basic wealth strategies?
Yeah. So that came because some people are good at, I'll just say one of the seven things, someone is probably good at one, or rather, everyone out there, they'll probably be good at one of those things. Okay. And now it's putting it all together, or knowing that, well, I need to work on all these other things to be actually successful. And I'll just use two examples. Some people, they're very visionary. They know what they want in the future. They kind of have that plan, but then they're not very good with the steps to then get there.
Mhm.
And one of the steps to building wealth is saving and investing. It's just that simple.
Hey, hold on, Victor. I think we just lost half the audience because they were like, "No, we don't want to save. We don't want to invest. We want to have the lifestyle, but we don't want to do exactly what you
That
mentioned." Go
now.
ahead.
Correct, yeah. So and you're spot on, because like half the audience, if we're just gonna divide that, half of them don't want to save and invest, but they have the vision. They're like, yep, I want that lifestyle. I want to have a good life. I want to be able to take my kids to nice schools. I want to be able to travel when I want. Like that, they want that. They know they want that. You can feel that when you speak to them, but they're not good at saving and investing. So other people are just naturally good at saving and investing. They just always put money away, and I'll talk about that about my own experience as well. So, chapter one talks about setting 10-year goals, which is that long time frame, long term
Mm-hmm.
thinking. And the question is there to guide people, because some people are not good at that. They need some guidance. Like, yep, these are the questions. How much do you want passive income? How long do you want to be working in 10 years time? How much do you want to be making in 10 years time? Like 10 years. And before that, I preface the whole thing by saying, look, dream big, but not too big that, it's unachievable. Okay.
Right.
Because let's assume you only save $10,000 a year, or let's assume you save nothing and in 10 years time, you want to have $10 million. Oh, that's really too big. Big enough, but not big that it's unachievable. Okay. So
Right.
that's what setting the goals and having, I call it start with the end in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's chapter one. Then now chapter three, I'll skip through chapter two because it's not too relevant for what I'm saying now. So chapter three talks about cash flow. So now in today's money, this is not 10 years time now. Today's money, what comes in, what do you do with it? Because if you're getting $100 now and it comes in and you can't manage it, you're not going to be able to manage $100,000 because there's
Ouch.
always something you can spend your money on.
Mm-hmm.
Rich people run out of money because there's always something you can spend your money on.
Rich people become poor people really quickly, right? If they aren't watching the cash flow. So, Victor, you mentioned that you were going to share some personal experience with saving.
Yes.
So, I'm going to ask a question and then you determine whether you want to give us the personal example or if you want to answer this question first. Okay.
Okay.
So we want to give you the appearance of having a decision, but both of them are going to happen. So, if someone only had time to apply one strategy from your book starting today, where would you tell them to begin? So, do you want to answer that or do you want to give the idea or your example?
Okay. Can I do both?
Come on, let's go. You the boss,
Okay, let's
man.
go.
Come
Yeah.
on.
So one thing I'll say most people struggle with is the cash flow, the now. So when money comes in, what do you do? You have to have a clear plan, okay? And I'll just use round numbers to keep it simple. $100 comes
Hold
in.
on, Victor, you're not about to say this dirty word budget, are you? Because
No,
we as human beings, we do not like that
no,
word. We think you're
no, no, no,
cursing
no,
at us.
no. I'm gonna use a
And then
synonym for that.
okay, but because we've been told to budget our entire lives and it makes our
No.
face go like this
Yeah.
and we think it's something complex. So go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so we're gonna call it a spending plan. You want to plan how you spend your money.
So I still get to spend. Now see,
You still
listen,
get to spend. Yeah. And
something as simple as that.
yeah, and that's a key thing I tell clients as well when I'm sitting down. And then when I see that their faces like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, this is your money, and you're going to spend this money we're putting away. No one else. It's gonna be you. But the thing is, you gotta plan ahead so you can enjoy it, for the rest of your life versus a 5 year stint, and after that, you've ran out of money. I know it's very sad because some professionals who earn big bucks then run out of money. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could just sit down with you and, help you out and all that because it's just sad, using basketball as an example, just so many names out there that they had so much money and had great careers, but their wealth hasn't translated into that. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, the one thing I'll say now is the cash flow, the ins and the outs. So you want to plan that. So you get $100, you want to put 20% away towards, your long-term growth, your long-term spending, your money. Now you want to spend maybe 60% of that on everything you need. So you rent, your mortgage, your housing, everything. And then there's a little bit of money in there you can play with. So there's a short-term bucket, and then there's a discretionary. People love the discretionary. This is on whatever you want to spend your money on. It's like, yeah, go for it. There's a small bucket. Every time you get paid, money goes in there. You spend on whatever you want. Whatever. No one should tell you anything. Partners out there, please allow your significant others have their bucket and they should spend whatever they want on it.
Say
Trust me,
what? Let them have their bucket, you have your bucket,
your
and you all
bucket.
will be a happy couple. Come on.
Oh my God, allow them spend. They just cannot go past that bucket. If they go past that bucket, yeah, give them some grief. But other than that, allow them spend. Just allow it.
Got it.
So my first, and this is where I think I have lots of advantage and just benefit. I'm really grateful for this. My first experience with money was my mom saying, keep some, spend some. Imagine what that has done for me for my whole life. My first experience wasn't someone complaining about money, saying, "Oh, money never comes," or money just
That's a
comes and
blessing,
goes,
man.
or spend everything before you die. It was save some, spend some, and to me that was the best. well, one of the best gifts my parents could have given me, because it really set me up for the attitudes to be able to build wealth. And when we sit down with lots of people, they either have a emotional bias or a cognitive bias, and depending on which one they have, cognitive bias is a lot easier to fix, because it might just be the person thinks that credit cards are good. It's
Mhm.
not really them spending too much. That's thinking about credit cards being good. It's a cognitive bias. Not having the ability to stop spending, that's a emotional bias. The emotional biases are generally harder to stop. So yeah, my personal experience was good with money, and is the best one with money I could have gotten, saying spend some, keep some. In fact, I
Spend
think
some,
her line.
save some. That is a
Yeah.
fantastic. So that's a great environment to grow up in, right? And so Victor and I, we don't take for granted that that's not everyone's experience. And if that was not
Mm,
or has not been your experience, we want you to just think differently, think bigger, right? We know you were impacted by that, but you're also, as a functioning adult, you get to make some different decisions today. And Victor, that's where I want to go right now. So after someone reads 7 basic wealth strategies, what are some mindset shifts that readers typically can experience or can expect after reading the book, right? Something that if we dive into the pages and we're going through it, and now we come back and say, oh, I thought it was just going to be this, but I know that you're doing a lot of work up here on us as readers. So what can we experience?
Yeah, so chapter two talks about biases. So chapter two is biases as to, okay, what are the normal biases that people have, and it then asks you questions, because when you have a bias, you don't know you have a bias, which is the annoying thing, right? It's not like walking around and you have something on your face, then you can go look at the mirror and then they said, no, it's not there. It's just the bias. So the questions in the book to help people find out if they have any of those biases in 3 aspects in life. So wealth, health, relationships. Those are the kind of our 3 core areas in the business. But I always tell people, I'm the wealth specialist. I know nothing about relationships and health, so go speak to other specialists in that regard. But the 3 questions, 3 set of questions for each bias that you can reflect on and then go. So one of them is herd mentality. Herd mentality is just going and doing whatever Mr. Joe Jones down the road or Mrs. Jane Jones down the road is doing. Doesn't mean you should do it. They might not, Mr. Joe Jones, Mrs. Jane Jones might not even know what they should be doing. So if you're following them, and that's just following the crowd, if you're following the crowd, you may not be getting the best outcome. Okay. So things
So
like herd men.
hold on right there. I do want to ask just about herd mentality with Joe and Jane Jones in Sydney, Australia. Are they the Joneses or is there something else? Like like brother, you've got to give me a solid name. Like, is there a name that is representative of the country instead of Jones, or are the Jones still in Sydney as well?
Yeah, well, come to think about it, I still use the Joneses, but I'm definitely sure that there will be some. Look, 17 years later, I'm still learning some of the lingo, some of the slangs and everything. But now I can't think of in the finance one. I still think we still use Jane and John Joneses.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry, sorry.
so
Yeah,
on our
I got nothing
next
there.
episode, whenever Victor gives us an example of a couple, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go out on a limb, and because this is a friendly competition or competitive statement, he will not say the Joneses. He's going to
Okay,
say whatever that is representative of Australia. He's going to bring me down under to the island, to the country, to
done,
the nation
done.
next
I'll
time.
go do some research.
All right, and I apologize. That's just the way my mind works. Once again, I'm one of the people that you wrote the book for because you break things down
Mm.
and make it very simple. So go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so in terms of the herd mentality, it's just being very cautious. Generally, when there's no knowledge at all, sometimes the herd is correct. Okay. And generally, I was speaking to someone about this yesterday as well. When is a good decision, it's still better than doing nothing. Okay. So, and that's where wealth building and finance gets a little bit complex, because, one of the things lots of people do in Australia is buy a property, an investment property. So buying an
Mhm.
investment property is better than doing nothing with your money. But buying an investment property may not be the best thing to do with your money for you at that point in time. So
Right.
sometimes herd mentality is it's one of them that, well, if you absolutely know nothing to do, the herd is okay. However, in this day and age, you can definitely find a lot to do and get the help you need so you can make the best decision for you versus just following the herd. But herd mentality is one of the biases which I speak about. There are about 8 of them there that I spoke about. Look, there's so many, but I was like, nah, gotta keep it short. I don't want to overwhelm people with this kind of stuff.
Because he cares about us, ladies and gentlemen, and Victor Idoko wants to make it easy for us. But make sure that you do purchase the book. Go to the show notes. You're going to be hearing a lot from Victor. If you're associated with me, you are now associated with Victor. That's just the way
Yes.
it goes. So I've mentioned a few times already that you make the complex simple, right? And so in the financial world, there are some myths that might
Mm.
be keeping many people on the sideline. It has scared us out of even trying. So in your mission, in this thing, this journey that you're on, what's maybe one financial myth that you're looking to bust, right? That you're looking to dispel so that we can get into the building wealth game.
Yeah, yeah. So can I give two? I feel like I keep asking if I can give two, right? Can I
Dude,
give two? Yeah, yeah,
listen,
let's do it.
you're at home, brother. Let's go, because I know the audience. They were like, "Nah, give me two. Help us. Don't
Give
limit
me
yourself.
two,
Don't
yeah.
don't let Neil put you in a box."
So the first one is that investing is gambling.
Is it
Okay.
not?
No, 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 no. It's not. Definitely not. Definitely not. So and I understand why people think it's a gamble. Okay. So the difference between investing and gambling is investing. There are ways you can remove lots of the unknowns. Okay, because when people go to invest, sometimes they just go do it blindly or follow the herd and then lose money, and then they're like, "Oh no, I'm done with this. It's such a gamble. I
Mm-hmm.
don't even know." Okay, but having a diversified portfolio, and I always tell people that look, if you're invested in the top 3,000 companies in the world, and the top 3,000 companies in the world are all running out of business. Trust me, there's something more important going on than your wealth, and we're probably just all dying. I don't know. There's aliens have come in, whatever, you know. So things like diversification give you a higher chance of making money. That's one. Now another thing is time. Time adds to that chance, you know. So by the time we go to you investing over a certain period of time, and I'll just go 5+ years, you know, there is a 99% chance that you will make money. Whereas if you go to the casino and you keep gambling every time, there's no 99% chance that you will make money on your gambles because it's a gamble every time. That's one myth. It's definitely not a gamble, and you know, by the time you understand all this, it gives you more confidence. You understand and you ride the waves up and down the waves with the market because the market is very wavy, very very sentimental, very volatile. Okay, so that's one. Then the other one is that investing is for the rich. Well, I need to have
Wait,
thousands
it,
of.
it is it not?
No, 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 definitely not. We're not. So we don't want to think that. You know, we definitely don't want to think that. Investing is what everyone should be doing. And in this day and age as well, there are lots of platforms that are cheap. You can start with a small amount. You know, maybe if you go 50 years ago, you needed to have a huge portfolio to go into a firm and then give them some money to invest. But not these days. These days, jump on your app, you find a platform, get into a diversified fund. That is a simple way to start investing. And the key thing about that and why it's not just for the rich as well is look, everyone can make money. Yes, it's proportional. Someone investing $10 million will make a lot more than someone investing $1 million. It's just the way it is. So it should not stop you based on what you have. And another key thing there as well, it helps you build the right attitude, and that's the attitude as to okay, you have some money, always invest some, spend some of what you get as well, and just keep doing that. Before you know it, it snowballs into something amazing. And if not for you, maybe for the next generation, but if it's just for you, you can plan how you kind of spend all that within your lifetime as well.
Good stuff. Now, Victor, I know that being as educated as you are, holding certifications, designations, getting the proper schooling, you don't use your words lightly, right? And so I want to ask you the difference between a couple of words or phrases. So one is building wealth, and the other one is just making money, right?
Mm,
So if I say, Victor, what's the difference in building wealth and making money? Because many of us, maybe a large portion of my audience, we're making money, But then we would come to Victor and you would ask us, so how's your wealth building journey going? And we'll say, well, here's how much we've made. And you're going to say, you didn't hear the question. So what's that difference between building wealth and making money, Victor?
Yeah, so making money, I think, is a subset of building wealth. Okay, and generally, when you're making money, you can make money through your job. You go to work, you make money. Okay, you have money in the bank, you make money. Building wealth is different because building wealth entails something a lot more elaborate. And the thing about wealth is it can work a lot harder for you. Okay, because you have the right structures, and then it's also put in things that do not need self exertion. You can
That
make
sounds
money.
good.
Yeah, you can make money by going to work. You can't really build wealth by going to work. You need to save some of that and invest some of that to build wealth. Okay. And to me, wealth just trumps making money.
Good stuff. All right. So I have a follow up question to that. So that is the difference, your opinion or your definition between the two, your distinction between the two. But I know that you're a big believer in it starts the way how people think, right? What do we think is possible? What do we think is possible for us? If someone is listening to you today, how can someone start thinking and behaving like a wealth builder? Even if they feel
Mm.
behind right now. They're listening to Victor and they're saying, well, he sounds smarter because he has an accent. We know that he mentioned if you have any level, if you're mid to upper tier, so he was able to leave Nigeria. So he's probably pretty darn smart. He's probably got some peanuts and pennies in his pocket. But they're saying, what do I need to do to start thinking and behaving like a wealth builder?
Yeah, yeah. And look, that's a very deep question, right? However, what we do for our clients, when I sit down and understand your long-term goals, you need to focus on your long-term goals because it's very hard for you and as you said, there's so many people who may be struggling out there paycheck to paycheck. It's hard for you to think about building wealth or think about how can you start, making this money work when there's no money left, if there's no long-term goal. And the long-term goal has to be emotive as well. So like what gives you goosebumps, what, really drives you. So that would be what I would encourage people to do, to link their future to what they want to do now. And that way you can definitely try get ahead. But yeah, look, we do understand that lots of people are struggling paycheck to paycheck and it can be hard to build wealth or save. But what I've found always works, long-term goals that are emotive, you would find a way.
All right. So, in that, and I just want to ask you this from your experience. I know that you work with some of the most successful individuals in the country and the world when it comes to building wealth. Is there a habit that you've seen amongst the successful or a habit amongst the unsuccessful that either improves or diminishes their financial outcomes? What's something, so we want to learn from the good and we want a cautionary tale from the bad, right? And it
Yeah.
might be the same habit, it might be two sides of the same coin. Is there a habit that we can practice that you've seen? Hey, those who really get this one thing, ooh, their outcomes are fantastic. Or
Mm.
those who have this habit, their outcomes are detrimental.
Yeah, yeah. So the habit that I've seen with most successful people is the ability to recognize where they don't know their where they understand that they're not an expert in. Okay. So
That's a
and I'll
good
give an
one.
example. It's almost like a physics teacher, coming to sit down with a finance professional. They might be great at physics, but finance is not physics. So just the ability for them to really understand, okay, well, cool, mustn't make physical sense and understanding that okay there's a professional here, yes, be cautious, don't just do whatever, but at the same time those kind of habits, just knowing what you know, knowing what you don't know, really set those apart because then they get the good advice, they seek advice, they know that the things that they probably don't know, so they should go find that out. Okay. And I'll relate this to sports as well. It's almost getting a good coach. Like that okay, well, you might in your head think you're you're the best and everything, but well, a coach would then help you improve in 1% there, 1% there. All of a sudden you are the best because you've
Mhm.
improved in all the same thing with the great minds. Now, what is detrimental, or rather what I've seen that at the other end, people don't do is, I'll say at that end, is thinking they need money before they should do anything.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, most people think, well, I need to have X amount of money before I do anything. It's like, no, you could start doing something with what you have, first of all.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a small thing, but it can make a huge difference because you keep kicking the can down the road. And if you remember what I said about wealth building,
Yeah.
so if you keep kicking the can down the road and not wanting to do anything, all of a sudden, 10 years later, you haven't done anything because you're like, oh, I was waiting to save X amount of money.
Yeah. And okay, so I do want to ask you about your clientele without giving any names unless you want to share. So how much of a challenge is it with your either coaching clients or those that you're working with where they're reluctant to admit what they don't know? Because that's a big deal because that means some of my ego has to die, that I have to come in and say, all right, this guy named Victor who loves chess but isn't that good. He knows finances more than me, right? Is that something that you're seeing that you're having to walk them through frequently, or by the time they've gotten to you have they sort of saying, okay, we're waving the white flag, we need some help?
Yeah, so some people come in waving the white flag, others come in saying, "Hey, I know what to do, but I'm just checking." It's like, okay, yeah, let's check that out. So, generally, with those kind of people, it's the way we approach them as well. Look, we would never say, "Hey, you're totally wrong." That's not the right thing to do. It's more about, and one of the things with wealth building as well is options, right? Because people have different risk profiles, so it's giving people different options. The smart ones soon get it that, okay, well, I shouldn't definitely do that, I should do this. So it's giving them the options and saying, well, okay, how about we do this? How do you feel about this? Because I think this can help you get XYZ better. Okay, all of a sudden I've kind of told them what you're trying to do is not good without saying that. And that's just the way, because end of the day, we're people, right? We want to feel good, we want to be
Yeah.
respected. So yeah, while somebody would come and say, "Hey, Victor, I've messed up. Can you help me?" He's like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, let's see what we can do." So it's just approaching the person the way they come as well.
Okay,
And
so
and and I
Victor,
still,
when
yeah.
somebody comes in and says, "Hey, Victor, I messed up," and you're like, "Hey, you probably didn't mess up as bad as you think. Let's take a look. Let me hear what you have to say." And then inside, you're like, "Oh yeah, you really messed up."
No, no. So look, I haven't seen, and maybe because I'm a very positive guy as well. So I've hardly seen any situation that I'm like, I'm not, I can't fix that. You know. So and people messing up, I tend to really understand because I think I was just very lucky, as I said, growing up, getting those attitudes set from, when I was 3 years old. Like
Yeah.
not everyone has that. So
Man,
there's almost
Victor,
a part
I'm
of
I'm right there with you, sir. You talk about us being blessed and spoiled and lucky all at the same time, growing up in environments where we were empowered.
yeah,
Man, that's a rare thing, sir.
yeah, exactly. So I definitely understand that not everyone got that. So the mistakes they have made might not be default. Some people, they just didn't listen, and look, it's just
Hmm.
what it is, right? So Jeremy, I don't think, oh, the mistake is terrible, you've totally messed up. It's like, well, what can we do? And that's my personality as well, which I'm very grateful for. It's like, okay, cool, this has happened. What can we do? How do we get it better? Let's move on. Let's move.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are here with Neil Oates Jr. and Victor Idoko on the Beyond the Velvet Rope podcast. Victor is my guest today, but when he's not doing friends favors and being a guest on their podcast, he is hosting his own Elevate Your Wealth podcast. Love the name. Oh my goodness. Elevate Your Wealth podcast. So make sure you all check that out. The link to that will be in the show notes. So make sure that you go and subscribe, that you listen to Victor. He has some powerhouses on his show. He's sharing a wealth of knowledge so you really can elevate your wealth. But I want to know for the audience of not only my podcast here today, but for your Elevate Your Wealth podcast, what type of transformation do you hope your audience walks away with?
Yeah, so the last few episodes we've been focusing on the three key pillars that I mentioned before now, the wealth, health, relationships, because those three key pillars are very important because you can have all the money in the world, but if your relationships and your health is not going great,
Yeah.
you're gonna be almost miserable. Not as miserable as if you didn't have money, but you know.
Hold on, lady. So let me tell you, Victor just said, "Oh, your life might suck. Now, it wouldn't suck as much as if you didn't have money, but if you don't have the other two, come on, man. Listen, that
Yeah,
is a very honest thing to say from the Michael Jordan of finance. I love it, man.
yeah, and I'm not taking a hit at those that don't have money. I'm just saying like there's a level of
Yeah,
wealth that okay, things are okay, where you can put food on your table without worrying. Okay,
yeah.
because if you can't put food on your table, your relationships are bad and your health is bad. Oh my God, like that's really hard to be in. Okay, so hence why we focus on the three aspects: wealth, health, relationships. And I get guests on that talk about health and talk about relationships as well. Because yes, I know I am not the professional there. I am the wealth guy. Wealth, that is my space. So what I hope with people is each episode they take something they can improve on. And with all these things, I've taken things as well that I can improve on and I should be doing better as well. So if they take something they can improve on each of those episodes, each of those sorry pillars, that will be amazing. Our episodes in 2026 would all be around money and
Hmm.
it's going to be around earning when you have a certain amount. What should you be doing? So what we're doing is each year we'll kind of do a segment for a specific group, so that way they get the most value.
Come on, man. You talking about being hyper focused, knowing exactly what you're going to deliver, laying it out for people. Now, I'm assuming that you value coaching because you've mentioned a coach no less than a dozen times. So I know that you're being coached, but you are also coaching, and that requires something different of you as an individual.
Mm.
So when you're coaching your clients, what are they most often experiencing once now is one thing. Now we're not talking about that coaching client that comes in and doesn't listen to anything you say, right? But the clients who come in who heed wise counsel, who listen, who apply, what breakthroughs are you seeing your coaching clients experience once they start aligning money with their values?
So the breakthroughs we've seen, I call them the intangibles. Okay, and that's the benefit of having a coach is the intangibles, is not the tangibles. You know, and one powerful thing that I see with lots of the people that we coach is financial confidence. Okay.
Hold on, sir. So, right there. So, first, we understand the value and the power of just confidence in general, right? But then now you're talking about financial confidence. That means I'm not afraid that I'm going to make one bad financial move that's going to ruin my life or generations. And so, even before you continue, when you talk about the intangible of financial confidence, I'm sure you see your clients show up on the calls and the interactions a little bit different once they begin to gain that financial confidence.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I remember about 6 years ago, this was when that really clicked with me. That I'm giving lots of my clients financial confidence, and it was a bloke. He came in, he walked in. You could
A
just see he was
what?
kind of yeah. The Aussie lingo is coming out again. Was a gentleman. We call them blokes. So a gentleman walked in. He needed some advice. He was just going through some stuff, and then the way he walked in wasn't the way he walked out.
Let's go,
Because
sir.
I remember him walking. I was like, oh, he's walking with some swagger. Is that the right
Yeah,
lingo
that's
to use?
it.
Yeah, there we go.
That's
He was
it.
walking out with some different kind of swagger, you know. And look, it just felt good because then I realized and started communicating to clients that look, we give you some intangibles that we can't measure. Like I can't measure that. I could see it. He probably didn't even. He might not have noticed it, but I noticed it. I'm like, yes, I'm happy. I'm happy you went out a lot more confidence. You know, going out there and being able to have one less thing to worry about.
Come on.
Yeah.
So I want to continue down that path. You mentioned that you were happy, right? But what does it do to you today, Victor, to think back over your early career, right? Because I know you said, hey, by the time I hang the tie up and the coat and I put the clipboard and everything up, you want to be in the rafters. What does it mean to you to look back and see the difference that you're making in people's lives, even if they don't see it totally yet? How do you feel?
Yeah, so I was speaking to a client yesterday. She was cheeky. She was like, "Why do finance people help other people with money?" I was like, "Everyone needs a meaning. I was like, and no one had ever asked me that before because, oh, yeah, it makes sense, right? Like, why do we help people with money if we know exactly what to do with money? And my answer to her, and it just came, is like, everyone needs meaning in life. That's the one thing that separates us from being a robot and AI and all that. They don't need meaning. They'll just give you the answer and that's it. But everyone needs meaning. We want to feel like we're doing something that matters and making an impact. Well, for me anyway, I feel like I want to be making an impact. And so to me, just reinforce that, okay, what you're doing is meaningful in people's lives and in my life as well. Because yes, it funds my ability to live and survive. So it's like, well, meaning. So that's the thing for me for sure.
Good
Just being
stuff,
able to
man.
give lots of
I
meaning.
wish I could have seen your face when she was like, "Why do finance people?" You're like, "What are we, criminals? Like, are we the bad people just because we have money, we know how it works?" But you're absolutely correct about the meaning. So since you keep throwing these things at me, and I'm having questions pop in my mind as they do, so
No
you're
worries.
making
Let's
my
go.
job easy. So let me ask you this, because you've mentioned the thing, this dirty word called time, and time is necessary to do this thing the right way. But
Yeah.
we know that I'm not coming to Victor to hear, "Oh, well, do this simple thing for a very long, consistent, steady time." How do you keep people engaged and excited about long term wealth building, especially today when we're like, "Hey, Victor, I'll give you 1995 if you give me the 30-day secret." How are you keeping us engaged and excited, committed to this long term journey?
Yeah. So when I sit down with clients, one of the slides I show them is a house. Okay. And in that house, there's the foundation, there's your three pillars, and then there's the roof. Okay. And this is the house for your wealth journey. Okay. Now, foundation is your spending plan, short-term goals, long-term goals. That's your foundation. The pillars now, your assets, your protection, and your debt. Okay. Now, the roof is your tax complex structures. And then on the top of the roof, I call that human capital or business growth. Now, if someone tells me that they want to do the best they can now for your wealth, I'm like, you know, two of the ways you can do it, depending on what area they are, is your human capital, your ability to make more. Because your
Mm-hmm.
human capital, your ability to make more, translates into your wealth. You make money, you save, you have more wealth. You make money, you save, you have more wealth. You make more money, you save more money, you have more wealth.
Right?
That is one of the ways you can get them to focus on the things that they can really move the needle quicker than wealth, because wealth is time. It's just time. So that's one of the things I get them to focus on. If they're business owners, then I say business growth, you know? So those are the two things that are in most people's control to a certain degree. Your ability to make more money from your personal exhaustion, especially if you're not in the retired space, if you're still working, okay? Or your ability to grow your business. Those
Right.
are the things that can move the needle in 2 weeks, literally. Because if you've been in a job for a while and no pay rise, and I'll tell them, go ask for a pay rise. And if you're doing the job well, you will get one. If you're not doing the job well, focus on how you can do the job better so you get more money. Okay. And if you've been in a job for 10 years and no pay rise, I'll be like, maybe you want to try another job if you
Let's
can.
start weighing your options. Let's see what you
Yeah, because
got.
we're in a world where these days you're almost rewarded for moving versus staying, right? So if you're staying and you're not being rewarded, you need to go somewhere else that you can get rewarded. And to me, honestly, that's the thing that can move the needle a lot quicker than time. But wealth building, it's time.
Right.
It's just time.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
time.
Victor Idoko has dropped gem after gem on us. Now I'm going to ask you a personal question.
Okay.
What does real wealth mean to you today?
To me, wealth is a tool. Okay. And I tried, literally, I was telling the client yesterday who asked me about why do finance professionals help people. And I was like, wealth is a tool. It's a tool to live the life you want. Some people need $100,000 to live the life they want. And it's the life you want. Don't be the Joneses. Okay. Some people need $200,000 to live the life they want. And that's where the meaning of wealth comes from for me. So it's like, what life do you want? How much do we need for you to live
Mm,
that life? So for me, when I look at it as well, is Whatever wealth I have is for me to be able to live the life I want for myself or my family, or myself and my family, I should say. So to me, that's what really is my concept of wealth, and I try to get people to, because when people understand that, so some people might be chasing an amount. It's like, well, how are you connecting your life to that amount?
Right. Okay, so now, and I think we're almost getting to the last question, but I know that when you have the guru, when you have a master here, you get as much as you can. You sit at their feet as long as they're going to sit there. And ladies and gentlemen, you always want to work with someone who's working with someone. I don't know if you all have heard Victor say it, but he's talking about his client yesterday, the client last week, the client from 6 years, 9 years ago. So he is actually doing, and he's being hired, ladies and gentlemen. So you don't want, now I know everyone needs a first, everyone needs their first client or customer. He is not that guy, right? He has experience in the game. So you always want to make sure that you're working with someone who's working with someone. And so Victor is absolutely doing that. Victor, if you could give one piece of advice today to someone who wants to elevate, and I know you're all about moving higher, both their mindset and their money, right? Because you mentioned it's not just money, it's a tool. So if someone came, Victor, I want to elevate my mindset and my money, what would your advice to them in general be?
Yeah. So my advice in general is get someone that keeps you accountable. Get someone that helps you, and I know some people will be like, oh, well, you're telling people to come use you. It's like, no, well, you probably don't know me and can't you, but it's like, get someone. And some people, you can pay for someone. Some people have great partners, and it might be life partner or business partner or just friends that can keep them accountable. I know once my friends tell me, or anyone says, keep me, oh, I'm going to keep you accountable. Oh my God, yes. I'm going to set reminders and I'm going to give you a call. I'll be like, what's going on there? Let's do it. So there are other people in life that can keep you accountable if you can't pay for someone to keep you accountable. Because there's something called the Hawthorne effect. The Hawthorne effect is when you know someone is watching, you tend to behave the way you should behave. But if no one is watching, and no one knows, you haven't told anyone you're trying to save 1,000 a month, whatever, you're probably not going to do it. But if you know someone's watching,
Yeah.
I know someone's going to be like, end of month, hey, mate, have you saved that money? You know that, okay, you need to do something. So that's why a coach is important. A coach, I said, it can be anyone, but generally professionals are better at that because look, it's just what they do every day. Your friend is not that's not your goal to be accountable for you, but look, it's a stepping stone rather than nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Victor Idoko here on Beyond the Velvet Rope. First, I want to thank you for dropping gem after gem, for taking your time here all the way from Sydney, Australia. It has been a treat, but we are not done yet. I think if you are willing to have some fun and do a quick, easy, rapid fire round of questions. Are you open to that, sir?
Let's go rapid. Let's do it.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Victor is on the hot seat. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite food?
It has to be pounded yam, local Nigerian food.
Okay. One name that only your family calls you.
We.
I see that's the one I don't know if anyone's gonna answer or not. So thank you for sharing that.
No worries.
Batman or Superman?
Oh, oh, Batman.
Why?
Superman is look, for lack of a better word, blessed. And Batman is just that's time and effort.
Come on, he is breaking this thing all the way down. All right, now this one might be hard for you. Are you ready?
Ready. I like hard ones.
Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Michael,
Why?
if in my opinion, because obviously it's not like I hang out with these blokes. If Michael had all that LeBron had, time, advancements, and all that, and all that, I think he could have won and done more. My
Got it.
opinion. Yeah. So,
Good
but look,
stuff.
both of them greats. Oh my God, goats.
So LeBron, when you watch this and you call me or Victor, don't get upset with him, LeBron. So
Please
when you
don't
watch
get
this, LeBron,
huge, huge fan, huge fan. Actually, one of the things I need to go see a LeBron game before he stops playing. So LeBron, get me
ooh,
tickets.
Come on, mate. Hey, we don't know where this is gonna go, but you and I, we are positive, we are optimistic. We believe that the
For
universe is gonna
sure.
give us what we ask for. So we're just asking for big stuff. We're gonna play this thing big.
Yeah, yeah.
Hot
Get
or
me, get,
cold?
get me tickets, and I want to be your financial planner.
Come on now, hold on, slow down, slow down. Look, you done chose MJ over him. He was like, nah, go ask MJ to be his financial planner. So Victor, hot or cold? All right. Best piece of advice you've ever received.
The mind cannot function above the limits of its contents.
May we ask who imparted that on you?
Look, that was from a book,
Okay.
but that
All right.
that really stuck. Yeah, because it's like, well, there's there's so much out there that everyone doesn't know. No one knows everything. So it's like, well, so but you got to
Got
learn
it.
a lot to then get ahead. So
I love it. Last question. What is one talent that you do not have that you wish you did?
singing. I wish I could sing.
You've got none of it?
No, none of it. Well, look, we can sing in church and all that choir stuff. And when I say
No,
choir
no,
stuff, like
no.
just the normal, but no,
No.
like just being able to, sing.
Now, here's where my audience, from Beyond the Velvet Rope and myself, we are optimists, right? And we are positive supporters and encouragers. So, if you would like to give it a shot live here,
Ha ha.
if you would like to, we're going to encourage you. Do you want to give it a shot, Victor?
Look. I'm happy to. I'm happy to make a bit of fun of myself. So look, I'm happy to give it a shot, but your audience might just switch off the headsets and whatever, and be like, oh, God, checking out.
Come on, man. So I lied to you when I said that was the last question. If there's one thing that you wanted to share with the audience in closing, what would that be?
Yeah, so look, the honest thing I always tell people is no one is perfect. I know I've come with lots of knowledge, lots of germs, okay? People fall off your wealth journey from time to time. Jump back on and stay longer. And before you know it, you're building and doing amazing things. Okay. So it's like, well, you've never saved before, you're planning to save, do it for a month. If you jump off, that's fine. Jump back on. Next time, do it for 2 months. Before you know it, you're doing this for years and you're way ahead. So don't be too hard on yourself, whatever stage you are at, because it's life. We're humans. Things happen.
Victor, Idoko, you are a man of the people. You're fantastic at making all of us feel better about ourselves, feel better about our wealth journey. So thank you for that. Thank you for your time here on behalf of the guest, on behalf of myself and the team here at Beyond the Velvet Rope. We thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, do us a favor. Make sure you go to the show notes, that you subscribe to the podcast, that you follow Victor on everything that he's doing. He's making some big moves. Share this episode with someone who is on a wealth journey, even if it's their very first step. We know that they will be encouraged by it. They will appreciate you for it, and they will owe you a favor after they listen to this podcast. So, Victor, thank you, sir. We're going to leave the audience like we always do, and that is that I love you. God loves you. There's nothing you can do about it. And until the next time I see you or you see me, don't be average. Be world renowned. Peace.